Okay, so we're looking at chart 312 here, and I was explaining a little bit about the long patterns. Okay, this part of the chart I brought over to chart 313. Alright, so most people should know what the long patterns are. The great thing about the long patterns is not only you can play them at the fret nut, you can play the modal fourth, okay, which is treating E as the fourth. E is the fourth of the key of B. So it sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? It's treating E as the fourth. If we did that for the key of C, it would sound like this. We want F to be the fourth. Okay, so we have, from just starting to be able to play these long patterns, just starting from the fret nut, we can also get the modals out of them. We can get, what modals do we get? We get the root. Root 2, 3, 5, 6 would be the pentatonics. And by the way, 313 is about pentatonics. So here's your extra long pentatonic. Remember, in pentatonics, whatever mode it is going to get the extra long all three. So in root, we've got root 2, 3 as the extra long. Okay, with the pentatonic fourth, we have 4, 5, 6 as the extra long. What? That's our pentatonic fourth in the key of C. Here's the root. And then similarly, when we get to the fifth, 5, 6, 7 of our three long patterns, we're going to have. Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 2, 3. How are we going to remember this 4, 5, 6 root 2 and all that stuff? How are we going to remember that? And by the way, I had to take my cold medicine, and now I seem to have a little, kind of a healthy fear of, trying to remember too many things. I want to make it easy, and here's how we're going to make it easy with the substitution. So on this chart here now, I should have somewhere. Oh, okay, we've got to get to the next chart, which we have a reprint. So this is chart 313. Okay, and what I want to show you is over here. This is all you have to remember. The root long pentatonic, if we're going to do a substitution, it's just root 2, 3 is going to be our long, remember? Whatever mode it is gets the 3 on the pentatonic in the long scale block. And then the fifth is just going to be a short A. And the fourth is just going to be another A displaced one cage. Okay? So that's all you have to remember if you do a substitution, and let's see how that works. Don't let all this scare you, modal cages with long cutouts. I just using this fretboard, although this is tri-modal 1, 4, 5 intervals. So in the root here we've got root 4, 5, and then the D we've got 2 minor, 5 major, 6 minor. That's what 1, 4, 5 intervals are. In the C we've got 3 minor, 6 minor, 7 half diminished, that kind of thing. That's just one of those Andy specials that I'm sure will come in to play Similarly, the way that the Tri-pentatonics, which are all the same thing, 1, 4, 5. Okay, now remember, let's say in the C box here, we've got pretty much, 5 root 3, 5 root 3 here. The fourth, and well, let's look at this. What's the shape of the fourth? Well, now we have to do an E-shaped fourth. Is going to be root 4, 6. But if we go over to the E-shaped box, here's our root again, and we can look at, remember we talked about root 5, root 3, that kind of thing in C shape? Now we have here 5 root 3 again in the E box, so we can substitute the E right there into the C box. And then the other shape was G. So here's our G, root 3, 5, as opposed to in the C box 5, 7, 2. So we don't have to remember 5, which is fifth, G, and then 7 would be the seventh, B, and then 2, which is the D. So if we do a substitution, so how does that substitution work? How are we going to do a substitution? How am I going to remember? Well, I'm doing a substitution every time there's C, there's a substitution. I'm substituting an E-shaped F right there. I'm substituting an E right there. So now I know whatever I could do with this E, I can do with this. Something like that. See? We've substituted an E there. And then we're going to substitute a G. Okay, we've substituted a G there. Luckily, we have the capo on that one. Okay? We substituted a G shape. We borrowed that from up here. Kind of thing. Alright? That's the actual G right there. But that's substituting a G shape as we talked about. So we've got root 3, 5 there, but in the G. So our root is the G, the 3 is the B, and the 5 is the D. Okay, it's not what's up here. This is the G shape C. So that is what I'm talking about. Whatever we can do, we can treat it as a temporary root, and we don't have to remember 5, 7, 2. We can look at it as root 2, 3. Now if we play a pentatonic, we can go ahead and do that. Because we're not going to play in the key of G, because we have the F sharp. We're not going to do that. We're going to play its pentatonic. And we can also do a suspended. With the fourth, we're not going to play the B flat. Okay? But we can also do a seventh. You can also do a seventh chord, a major seventh on the fourth, so it'd be. And then we could do that major seventh, which I have difficulty getting into the E shape. Okay, so that's a grassroots explanation of substitutions. But we have the long patterns. We have a method to do the substitutions other than just substituting a chord shape. Because when we get into the long patterns, it's harder to identify chord shapes without just looking at them as part of the short pattern shapes. Alright, so we're going to learn how to do that after the segment.